This goes all about, well, gay bathhouses and everything. It's all about round-the-clock sex. It's all, come on, man. We talked about this in San Francisco. It's all about, well, gay bathhouses and everything. It's all about round-the-clock sex. It's all, come on, man.
There was an LGBT town hall last night. If I am being honest, I did not know this town hall was taking place. As you know, when Bernie Sanders was ill, this was Joe Biden answering a question in that town hall. Sanders is just getting out the hospital. Apparently, he's getting back on the campaign trail a bit early, but not early enough to necessarily hear Joe Biden say that at the town hall. Sanders might not have been able to show up to that particular town hall, but I would make the case that his record on issues of LGBTQ is clear. I would even argue far clearer than many of the other candidates. This is Sanders at a point where he was chained to a black woman, and I know this is not LGBT, I'm just making a point, being dragged away. There are other videos with him organizing protests and even sitting and walking behind Martin Luther King. Civil rights has been something that Sanders has fought for his entire life. It wasn't something that he evolved on. He was apparently there, even as a child, and even in hostile territory. Meaning, he was courageous enough to take a particular position, despite the fact that that position went against the current prevailing norms. He wasn't at that town hall, but I would argue he didn't need to be for you to look at his record and see his works and judge them to be good. Welcome to the Soapbox. My name is Jamarl Thomas. This is the Progressive Soapbox. Guys, if you dig this content and you find yourself coming back often, please like, share, subscribe. You can always support PayPal Patreon. I continuously, like pushing a boulder up a hill for it to just fall back down and to lift it back up the hill again, have to continuously say this because it's true. They demonetize all of these videos. Sometimes they turn the monetization back on, but at that point you've lost money, real terms. Sanders was not at that town hall. Sanders was not there listening to Joe Biden essentially do what Obama thought he was going to do, which is embarrass
We talked about this in San Francisco. It's all about, well, gay bathhouses and everything. It's all about round-the-clock sex. It's all, come on, man.
He's out of it. He's out of it. I'm sorry, he's out of it. Bernie Sanders has been fighting for civil rights going back 30, 40 years. I mean, he was doing that as a child. Even though he wasn't there at the town hall, I would like to insert an installment for Sanders, not today and the space that you have today to talk about these issues, but in 95. This is within my political memory. I remember during this particular time, it was this notion of gays in the military. And Bill Clinton took the lefty position of essentially just saying, don't ask, don't tell. Bill Clinton, I remember that. God, I'm getting old. I'm getting old when this stuff is beginning to be in my political memory horizon as opposed to me just having to research it. This is Sanders back in 95. Listen to the fight that he has on the floor. And again, this is not where space has been created to talk about these issues. This is when it wasn't on his side. And public opinion wasn't on his side. And this is him still being as strident as he would be if this was taking place today.
Any shocking doubt, the same people that would vote to cut defense $177 billion, the same ones that would put homos in the military, the same ones that would not fund BRAC, the same
Mr.
ones
Chairman,
that would not clear up.
Mr.
No, I will
Chairman.
not. Sit down, you socialist.
Mr. Chairman.
Did you hear him? Outright nasty. No, I won't sit down, you socialists. What did he say wrong? Because he made the term, quote unquote, homos in the military. He essentially used the slur to talk about our brave servicemen because for whatever reason he deems them to be lesser if those servicemen just so happen to risk their lives but be gay. And then when Sanders stands up, no, I won't yield, you socialists. said it with this just snarling disgust. Let's play out. Let's play like Obama. Let's let it play out.
Gentlemen, yield. Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Chairman. Do we have to call the gentleman a gentleman if he's not one?
Committee will be in order.
Mr. Chairman?
The gentlewoman from Colorado is recognized.
Gentleman from California, is he still here or did he disappear?
For what purpose does the gentleman from Vermont rise? The gentleman from Vermont.
I wonder if I could question the gentleman from California. I am rising in support of the amendment.
The chair is in charge. The chair is speaking. The gentleman from Vermont has been recognized for a period of 5 minutes, and you may now proceed.
I thank the chairman very much and would like the opportunity if the gentleman from California would respond. Just to ask him a brief question, if I might. Now, my ears may have been playing a trick on me, but I thought I heard the gentleman a moment ago say something, quote unquote, about homos in the military. Was I right in hearing that expression?
Absolutely. Putting homosexuals in the military.
You said something about homos in the military. Was the gentleman referring to the many thousands and thousands of gay people who have put their lives on the line in countless wars defending this country? Was that the group of people that the gentleman was referring to?
I'm talking about the military. People in the military do not support.
That's not what we were talking about. You used the word homos in the military. You have insulted thousands of men and women who have put their lives on the line.
I'm talking about you and liberals like you that keep the foreign defense.
Gentlemen.
Reclaiming my time.
Reclaiming my time. Reclaiming my time. I love that. That's Maxine Waters. Sanders has a point. And by the way, nobody forced him to get up to do that. Nobody cajoled him to get up to do that. Nobody had to tell him to get up to do that. He had that perspective right off the bat. And the moment that he heard the guy make that slur, he jumped up in order to defend A, the LGBTQ community, B, those that are in the military, because he has a point, right? All of these people, many of which, 1% of the public is in the military, 1% of the country, or 2% served in the military. And you have people who are castigated by the society who still feel some degree a reason or find reason to join and to subordinate themselves to the authority of, you could say, government, to lose their life in pursuit of defense of the country, or in many respects, aggression for the country. Sanders' point is, you've slurred members that are in the military just because those members just so happen to be gay. They risk their life no less. They fight no less hard, and yet you're attacking them. You're attacking them purely for identity reasons. Again, this is not a situation where they have lesser ability to do what the other people are doing. This is entirely him just going after them because of who they are. This is in 95. And to some degree, this slides in 95. After all, you have don't ask, don't tell. That's the furthest position that they were able to go on that particular issue. Sanders is standing in defense of that community back during a time that was relatively hostile territory. He didn't have to push him to do it. He did it because it was in him. And I make the point that that's the same Sanders that was doing this also 20, 30 years prior. He didn't have to be at the town hall. His life, for the most part, is a category of bravery in regards to civil rights. Somebody made an Independent Bernie video, and hopefully they don't have issue with me showing it. Oh, I'm sorry, not Independent. Sanders' name is on it. No, Independent. I love these videos. And so I'm going to show this. I hope they're okay with me showing it. But the reason I'm showing it is because in the video itself, there's people in here who talk about Sanders supporting them going back into the 70s when, again, it was hostile territory. And this gets to this notion of the civil rights thing. Sanders didn't need to be on stage with Joe Biden as he was saying stuff like this.
We talked about this in San Francisco. It was all about, gay bathhouses and everybody.
Because ultimately, Sanders' life is a category in bravery on this issue.
Bernie Sanders does have a certain problem with women.
Bernie Sanders makes my skin crawl.
If you are still supporting Sanders, it's kind of showing your sexism.
It's really hard to imagine who the voter is beyond the Bernie bro. Pretty white, pretty male.
He appeals to younger voters, but not women of color, and people of color in general.
You're wrong.
The wild part is the polling that came out for Fox News gets rid of that. Like, Warren supporters are predominantly white. That's true. In large measure. Predominantly white, predominantly women. Sanders supporters tend to be people of color. And they tend to be also women. Or at the very least an even split between men and women. This stuff is nonsense. They just made it up. Tom Perez put it out there. The media ran with it. And don't ever believe that media is separate from the political space. There are all sorts of media personalities who essentially interact with various political people. They leak information to them and they get access, that type of stuff. The media is just another tool in the toolkit of the way they run their political campaigns. Tom Perez pushing that myth, saying you need to attack Sanders as a white candidate, and having media lackeys run with it, shows you the connection between those things, the conversations that take place behind the scenes between media and political spaces. It's real. Don't believe that there's a separate and complete distinction between those factors. There's not.
70 years old, and I'm a Bernie Sanders supporter.
I'm a feminist, a mom, a teacher.
I'm an Arab immigrant.
I'm indigenous.
I'm a gay man.
And I'm a mom of two.
I'm a black woman.
Boricua.
Soy Latina.
I'm an immigrant.
57-year-old showgirl.
And I support Bernie Sanders for my patients.
Why should black women choose an older white male when they can choose a woman or even a woman of color?
Which candidates have impressed you the most tonight?
So far, Bernie Sanders. I would have to agree, Bernie Sanders.
I don't see how Bernie Sanders transforms into a messenger black and brown people will respond to.
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders. I love the man.
I see him as a not pro-woman candidate.
Being pro-woman means encompassing a holistic view of equality.
He's uniting people across demographic lines for the things that will benefit all of us.
Universal health care.
Universal child care.
Affordable housing. Free education.
The Green New Deal.
Humane immigration policy.
A politics where we care for the most vulnerable.
He has stood with the LGBTQ community since the 70s.
Including times when it was not popular to do so.
He's the only candidate to have the backbone.
This agenda is a part of the black agenda.
Specifically,
I hope you heard that. He stayed with the LGBTQ community when it was unpopular to do so. CNN and those debates in these townhouses, I agree with Tulsi on this, are just shows. I mean, these things are like snapshots for corporate advertising. It's almost like it's not even a real political contest. It becomes just another showpiece like anything else that's on CNN. What's real is what he's done. That's what's real. That's the legitimate aspect of this. That's the thing where you can look back and you can say, look, here are his works. You can have this town hall, or you can just look back over what he's done over the course of his lifetime. And again, done so when it was hostile to do so. I don't care what these candidates say at these town halls. What I care about is what they have lived. And if there's something to back up just the nonsense that they're going to spew for political reasons. What's real is when it's not popular. That's what's real. And the gentleman in the video that just said Sanders has been with the LGBTQ community even when it wasn't popular, going back since the 70s. I rest my case. I'm not gonna, not gonna belabor it. I'm not gonna belabor it. I am gonna say though, all of these people aren't wrong. The media has been gaslighting tremendously. The truth of it is, on the standpoint of civil rights, Sanders is probably better than anybody else that's on that stage. Like, share, subscribe. See you in a few. Think so.